That way you can see my teapot in good thing. Now it's real hard to show you the pattern, but this one, getting the pattern on your piece is the hardest thing you're going to do. That's I'm not going to lie to you. It's hard. It's just time consuming, and pencil and erase and pencil and erase until you get it even and equal. Because and this morning doing the teapot, I had to make me some new strips. I made a 1/2 inch one and a 3/4 inch one. And, you know, I had to work and work and work to get them even to have, because anytime you're doing stripes or you're doing checks, you got to have an even number, like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You got to have an even number or it won't come out right. Now, this one, I could not get the checks. I'm going to show you what to do when you can't get it right. Okay, this one, I couldn't get my checks to come out even, no matter. This little pot is small. It's only about, let me get my ruler here and I'll tell you, this little pot is only about 3 inches. Yeah, it's about 3 inches wide is all it is. And when you're working on the round like this, you want to work at your roundest part, which is your middle. Your line work is always going to go in the middle first, because whatever you do, when you come up, it'll get smaller. When you go down, it'll get smaller. But with this one, I'm going to do stripes around it, because I could not get those to come out. No matter how much I worked, I couldn't get those lines to come out even to put stripes around it or to put checks on it. So what I did, I put one row right here under the handle. I put one row that's going to come down. I've got one black stripe that's going to come down there. Then I went around my pot, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6. I had ended up with 6 stripes down, and they are only a 1/2 inch wide. I went 1/2 inch. Now when I done that, I lay my 1/2 inch line cardboard right at the top, and I went down. I'm working in the middle of the pot. I went down 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, till I got to the bottom. I made one mark there, but one little mark across my thing. I went about a couple of inches, and I put a mark here and went down till I went all the way around, starting at the top and coming down 1/2 inch lengths. I put a little mark there. Then I turn it this way, and I edge these little marks together to join them. If you've got marks that aren't too far apart, you can do that. But if you try to make a line that goes from here all the way over to here and don't have nothing to follow, it's very, very hard to get it straight. So what you have to do is just do little hatch marks all the way across through there to the next little mark you've got on there, and you will end up with straight, you know, stripes around there. That's very hard for you to see, because you can't put them on there very dark, because I don't want them to show in my paint. Now a lot of designers and a lot of people that do them, they take a magic marker and put that line around there. But I don't think that magic marker is going to match my paint enough to where I want that magic marker to show. They would take a fine tip marker and put it around there. I use a pencil, and I edge it very, very lightly on there, so I can see those stripes around there, but I can't, you know, I can't make you see them. They're too tiny, too light for you. But they are all a 1/2 inch down from the top. Now I did the same thing on this pot. I put one stripe under each handle. I come down, and I just penciled that on my own. I made a stripe on this side of the handle and a stripe on this side of the handle, and those are going to come down. Now the rest of them are going to go around, so I'm going to stripe around. As I paint them on there, you'll see what I'm talking about. Then I'll paint the bottom, and I'll paint the handles. Now on the teapot, I was able to get, let's see, I was able to get it in an even number. And the way you have to do that is you have to kind of measure the fat part. You're going to go around the middle, because like I said, as your lines go up, they're going to get smaller, and as they're going to be small, large, and back to small again, because your teapot's got a fat middle. And that middle, the stripes are going to be the biggest in the middle, smaller at the top. So you got to think about that. There's no way you're going to have those stripes going up and down that and have them all the same size. That's not possible. So I took my 1/2 inch paper, and I went around and made one mark on each side, and I traveled all the way around that pot. And it just so happened, this was after my 3rd or 4th try I give you. I tried inch first, I tried 3/4 inch, I tried all different sizes till I finally settled on the 1/2 inch to get it to come out even. So I went all the way around the pot, putting 1/2 inch little marks for 1/2 inch all the way around. And as it turned out, I got an even number. I think I got 16 on there. I can't remember right off without counting them. Then I took my pencil from that little line that I made. I edged my way up with little hatch marks, just edging all the way up to the top. Not even looking at what the next one's going to be, because they're going to get smaller as they come to the top. So I edged my way all the way to the top on every one of them. Then I reversed it, and I edged my way with little hatch marks all the way to the bottom. My fattest point is right here. When I paint one on, you'll see that it's fat, skinny, and then gets skinny as it goes to the top. And then I've got my pattern now. My pattern's all penciled on there. And that's the painting time is nothing. It's the getting the pattern on there and, getting it worked out that takes your time. The painting it is just a matter of, being able to make you a straight line and using a good brush. So I'm going to go ahead and put one on this, and then I went back in and I put an X on every one that's going to be black, for the simple fact that I don't want to lose and mess myself up. So I mark every one that's going to be. Let me see where my black paint's at. Here it is. Okay. Peggy, it is, the black and white is, and I sell a lot of the black and white. It would be good for, oh, that's the big thing. Yeah, I sell a lot of just the black and white. Now, and sometimes, if I can't get the pattern to work out, I'll put a black stripe, like I did on that one, down each middle here. Then I'll do something else in the middle of the pot, and and try to make it come out that way. And that black stripe down the middle may put polka dots in it, because it's going to be different. You could still have an even number of stripes here and an even number over here. A large stripe down through here and a large stripe down through there. And those two large stripes, I would put polka dots in them, so that it was know that I made it that way. I meant that one to be larger because I put a design in it. So that's the way you make it work into your design. Okay, now I'm going to put my black paint out here on my palette, and we'll turn you over just a little bit so you can see my palette there. Okay. And you want to use the brush that fits the the size that you're doing. So I'm using a number 6. It's going to be a little, I could use a little large one in the middle here, but because it goes small as it gets to the top, I'm going to use this number 6 because it'll go up smaller. So I'm going to start right here on this one. I'm going to do it, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about as it gets bigger and smaller. Let the edge of your brush do your work. Now I'm going to go back in and paint those handles gold. Paint black on them and then gold over top of them, so I don't have to worry about doing anything to them until the end. But I'm just bringing my first stripe down. Like I said, sometimes you'll luck into one that's got a pattern on it, and that is great if you've got a pattern on it, because you can just follow that pattern. I haven't had one on my Etsy page for a long time, so I needed to get one done. I've got some other colors on there, but I've not had a black one. Now I'm coming down here and turning it up. You want to turn it however it's comfortable for you to work on it. It goes right to my bottom. We have to think about what day if you all want to switch to an evening next month, we can switch to a different day of the week and do it of the evening. If some of you are having trouble, if some are having trouble getting in on the morning classes, of being in the lives, then we can switch to an evening for the next month. And we got to figure out what we're going to be doing. Okay. See, getting right here at this handle, I'm trying to work around that handle, so that makes it a little bit tedious until I get away from that handle. Then it goes pretty fast. These This little teapot's a plain one, but it works out really pretty. But you usually find them more often than you do the ones that are real ornate and got a lot of design to them. I've got one over here, a small one, that I think I'm going to put flowers on, so I may show you that one and show you how to do flowers on it. Now see what I was talking about? See, it gets smaller up to the top, and then it goes down, it's wide down here, and then it gets smaller as it goes to the bottom. So, one more little stripe there. Oh, and I just put my finger in. Eh, Lord, I just put my finger over there in a spot that it shouldn't be. So I'll have to go back in and let me get some water on that and see if I can get it off real quick. Probably not. Okay, that's the thing, you gotta be careful because that black paint, you can move it real fast. Now I'm gonna go right over to my next one. I'm skipping one and going right over to this one, next one. So every other one I'm going to paint. The edge of my brush is pulling straight up, not much paint on my brush. And like I've told you before, the edge of your brush makes your line up through there and keeps your line even. Following my pencil marks that I put up there. I'm going to do the left side. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do the left side of the stripe first. Then I'll turn my pot upside down and do the right-hand side, do the other side. It's easier to do that than it is to turn the brush and work. You got to work at what's comfortable for you. If it's comfortable for you to turn the brush and do that, that's okay too. But this is the way that works for me. Now I'm right up to the top again. Turn my pot around and go right back down the other side. Sometimes these things are heavy and they're hard to hold on to. And this one is kind of heavy, and it being, you know, it's heavy in the bottom and lighter in the top, so it's a little hard to hold on to. I'll try to see if you put questions in. Okay, any evening but Monday for you, Peggy. Okay, we'll see about, we might switch over next month to the evening class and see if we get some, because some people work during the day and they, you know, it'd be easier for them to come on of the evening. Okay. I've been busy all this week printing prints. I think I got my last. I've got one more. I got Nancy's to go out tomorrow. And unless I get some more orders this evening, I think I'm caught up with them. Yours are leaving today, Debbie. Joe takes my things to the post office when he goes to pick Morgan up from school. You won't really see, you can't really see what's done and what, you know, how it looks until you just about get it finished. I want these to go right up to the bottom of my base there. I'll paint that base black and then put some gold over top of it. See, now you can see how it's coming along? And I'll just work my way right on around to the next one. I got a little stray hair on that brush that I'm going to cut. My scissors over here. I'm going to trim that little hair off, give him a haircut. That one's sticking out there and bothering me. Okay. Not putting much paint on my brush, just a little bit. I'd rather load real often than I would to get a big glob of paint on the end of my brush. I made a video last night of mulberry paper. I'll post it later today. All I did was put mulberry paper on a mirrored tray I've been wanting to do that. I'm going to teach in a private class tomorrow for another lady, Grace. Can't remember what the name of her page is, but she has a private group, and I'm going to teach a class in her private group tomorrow. So we're going to do a mulberry paper thing. But I've been wanting to make a video, because I probably can post that on YouTube too, of just putting the mulberry paper on. And these mirrored trays that I got, I'll probably do one with you all. I found them at one of the stores, local stores here. I think it was Ross's. And I got a couple of different sizes in them, and they're beautiful. They've got the bling. I think I've already showed you. They've got the bling already on them. I've got one smaller one, or two of the small ones and two large ones. I bought all that they had that day. Of course, they're like, you know, Ross and Gabe's and all those are closeout stores. So if you see something in there and you don't buy it today, when you see it, it's like Big Lots used to be. If you don't buy it today, when you see it, you won't get it when you go back, because they only get one thing, and they might have, the truck comes in, there might be only one of that item on that truck, because they buy closeouts from other stores. Okay, coming right along. We don't have many in here today, just 4 of us. To catch a replay. Okay, now I've got 3 of them. So, you just got kicked off, Peggy. Well, sometimes you have to go out and come back in. It happens. That's usually your internet. Sometimes I do that on my iPad, and it's because I've had too many windows open. I have to clear my iPad. I film on an Android tablet because it's the best one that I got for filming. The sound on my iPad is terrible. When I try to do a video on my iPad, the sound is horrible. So I bought me a new Android, and I love it for filming. The only thing, when you use iPad, they become obsolete after a few years, and they do that, so you have to buy another one. And I would like to have the newest one, but they're like buying an iPhone. I've never bought an iPhone. They're like buying an iPhone. The new tablet's about $1,500, and I just can't, I can't justify the expense to pay $1,500 for another tablet right now. So, and this Android is great. And it was $700 or $800 when I bought it. No, I think it was about $600. But anyway, my granddaughter had one just like it, and she talked me into buying it. And I love it for the filming and stuff, but I'm having a hard time learning the other stuff on it. She has to, I always have to holler at Maddie to help me. Come help me do this, Maddie. I don't know what I do. I wouldn't be able to do nothing if I didn't have her or Joe. I did get my new printer set up yesterday evening, or Maddie did. She set up my printer. And so far it works. It's not taking commands really well. I'm going to use it for a few days and see. The prints are beautiful, and it's a laser printer. And I was able to remove the extra carriage that's in it. That's what I had problem with the other one, the extra carriage that's in there. Usually you have a carriage on those that carries envelopes and pictures through that are smaller, and sometimes you can remove that carriage and sometimes you can't. Well, I have one that you can, and this one that you can, because that carrier usually stops that rice paper from going through there, because that rice paper is so thin. But I do have to put it in one sheet at a time. So I've got to put one sheet in, and then go print my print, and then go put another sheet in and print a print. So it's a pain in the butt. But now the color's beautiful on this one. Now we'll see how it works for a while. I still have those grab bags going on for the prints if you want some while I'm doing that. I sold a ton of those over the weekend, and they done really well. Okay, now this is going to be a little tricky. I'm right here behind this spout, so I'm going to have to go in here very easy. Won't matter if I get it on the spout because it's going to be black anyway, but it's hard to get in there and get that line straight. But really pay attention to coming down my line there to keep it straight, because that spout's in my way. Oh, I just nicked it. See, that's the thing. Maybe I can let it grow a little. Take care of that little nick that I put in there. Black is so hard to deal with because you can't clean it off, especially when you're working on white. It's so hard to get it back off, then you usually have to repaint and all to get it back, so that's why it's hard to do. You can understand after you do one of these things why they sell for so much. Because time-wise, time you do the cleaning and you do the prep, and you got so much time in it, even if you bought your tea set for $20, $25, you got so much time in it that it's crazy, the hours that you put into them, especially if you're not, and you know me, I paint fast, but if somebody like you does one of these, you're going to be days doing it. I could do this whole thing in a day, but I couldn't when I first started with them, so. Okay. I'm having a hard time behind that handle. Keeping your line straight, and that handle being in my way is hard. Okay, got that one on. It's behind the thing. Now I got to go down to the bottom and continue it down to the bottom. Right here is my bottom part. And like I said, the spout's going to be black, so I don't have to worry about getting it up on the spout. But I do have to. And then every now and then you need to clean that brush off, because you will end up with a glob of paint up in it. So you need to either clean it off on your paper towel or wash your brush completely and start over. Okay, now I'm almost got, I've got one side, see? I've got one side of it, the stripes around it. Watch me drop it. And right on to my next one here. Tea services are hard to pack and to ship to because the handles are real easy. The handles and the spout are real easy to break. If they get a bang in shipping, you know, they get broke. So you got to really pack them. And especially if you got a big tray, then you're going to pack that in a large box because your tray is large. And that makes the shipping expensive. Okay, I'd like to, let's see what I found a glass relish tray with the dome. That's good. Never seen one before. I'm wondering if they took a dome from a cake platter. No, I have some of those, Pam, right now. I've got one, let me get it right here. I'll show you this one. I just got this one vase coated. See this one? This one has a glass insert that goes in it. See how pretty that is? And there's a glass dish that goes in there. And it came with the dish, which is beautiful. I love this. And I'm anxious to paint it. And these, having these things here on the end, I will work around those, and then I will just hit those with a little bit of gold, maybe some rub and buff or something with my finger. And then I got another one here, and it's a relish tray. Let me see where I've got it here, because I've already base coated it. I'm looking. What did I do with it? It's a relish tray, and I'll show you. It's got a glass insert, but it don't have a... Okay. I base coated 2 or 3 of those that I got the other day, but I haven't started on them yet. Let me see if this is it down here. The relish tray is separated, but the tray itself is not. You have to move everything in the house. That's the thing, when you're crowded, everything's under something else. Okay, this is it. See how pretty this is? And it's on a spindle. It's on a spindle around it, and I've already got it marked off with the Harlequin pattern. And it has a glass relish dish that fits down in that side, down inside that, but it don't have a lid on it. But this one I love too. This one I'm going to try to do this one right away. So I got those 2 base coated and ready to go. But if you find the trays, up until now, I've only found one of the trays, the relish dish or anything, that actually had the glass in it. And I sold one. I had one. I bought it at the thrift store here, and I think I paid $25 or $30 for it. And I finished it, and I sold it for $180. And it sold right away in my shop. Of course, I now have some customers who watch for me to put other things. They've bought stuff before, and they're repeats, and they come back, to when I put something else in there that's in their style, they come back there to get it. So that happens a lot. I've got one lady that lives in Michigan that over the last few years, the first time she purchased from me, in a month's time, she purchased $5,000 worth of stuff in about 6 weeks. And I painted one tea set for her, a tea service as a special order, and it was $500. And then she bought one for her daughter at the time, and it was $250. Now she comes back I think she now, because she has me ship them to a different address, and I think now she purchases for her daughter. But usually 2 or 3 times a year she shows up in my shop, and she'll purchase, $600-800 worth of stuff at a time. And most of it's in the this kind of stuff that she buys. Okay, I'm coming right on down. You like to, if you get a following, a good customer like it, it's great. Okay. So anytime, it's like the glass insert or the glass mirrored trays. I never pass one of those up in the thrift store unless it's priced ridiculously high. I'm not going to pay $30-40 for one to paint on. But I always look for them. And sometimes I'll get lucky. Sometimes stuff like that, you'll get lucky and you'll find maybe 2 in 2 or 3 months. Then you won't see them again for a year. And I don't have time. I don't hit the yard sales around here very often because I don't even think about it come Friday morning or Saturday morning. I forget about them till it's too late. If you're hitting the yard sales, you've got to be out there early. Estate sales is usually a good place to buy silver when you see an estate sale in your area of elderly people. Because old people our age used to buy silver, and they liked it in the silver. So they usually have some pieces in their estate when they pass away. So if you can find an estate sale from an older couple, you'll usually find some good silver pieces. I think Joyce, that's here in our group, she lives in New York. She's having a yard sale right now we'd all like to go to. But she lives in New York, and she finds all kinds. And she gets a lot of it. She said she gets a lot of it at estate sales. A lot of people don't like to see you paint on silver. They'll quarrel, you know, and I've had them contact me. Why do you paint that? Why do you ruin that by painting on it? Well, it's of no use to me. Now, if it was sterling silver, I wouldn't paint on it. If I look onto something and it was sterling silver, I'll get it out in a minute. If it's sterling silver, I would sell it because I don't like it. I don't want to have it, you know, to use because I don't want to clean it. But I would sell it. I always check to see if I have anything that's real silver, if I look onto some pieces. But I've never been able to look on any that's real silver. But otherwise, they're worth more to me to paint them than they are just to look pretty. And I sure don't want to take the time to shine them all the time. I have some beautiful pieces of glass that I've had. You know, I've got some carnival glass and stuff I've had for years, and now I don't know what to do with it. You know, young people today, they don't want that stuff that we have. They are very minimal, and I don't blame them. If I was starting out today, I'd be the same way. But once you get stuff, you can't just throw it away. So you're stuck with it. Then, too, you have things that are supposedly antiques, and people say, gosh, that's worth $500. Well, if you find somebody that'll pay me $500 for it, send them to me, because I'll sell it. Oh, hey, Linda. Hi, Miss Teresa. Okay, I can hear the rain. Sounds good, but it sure is chilly here. I'm tired of the cold. I'm ready. At daytime, you run your air conditioner, and then at night, in the morning, you got to turn your heat on. Daryl uses electric blanket on our bed, and I've already took it off, and now he's wishing it was back on there. Coming right along. Most of the time, pieces that have glass inserts in them, they end up getting broke. So you just get the metal part, and then you never find the glass to go in it. Especially casserole dishes. One more stripe, and I'll have the stripes done on this one. Okay, one more. Awful quiet, girls. I wish you could talk to me. Linda, you say sending out the sheets. You can't share from the private groups. I appreciate that, but if that's what you mean, you can't share anything from a private group. It won't go out. Can from my regular page. But the groups like Creating with Judy, you can't share from it, and you can't share from this one. Any groups, you're not able to share stuff out. Okay, turn it back around this way and go back down. Okay. If you have any questions in there, girls, put them in there. It would be, Peggy. I wish we could. That's the only thing about being on here. You're by yourself and you're talking. You know, I'm talking to myself, and that's sometimes you run out of stuff to say. If people can respond, you know, it's. We could talk about each other. Okay, my stripes are on. Now I'm going to go right ahead to a bigger brush and finish the black on this one. Get me a larger brush over here. And I'm going to go down to the bottom. Up here on the top, I think I'm going to paint part of this black on the top and leave part of it white and put some polka dots in there. So on the top, I've got an indentation. The lid is made with a little groove that comes down to right here. So I'm going to paint up to that groove. I'm going to leave that section white and polka dot it. But I'm going to paint this black down here and black top knot. So I'm going to hold that out like this. I have to go back to my smaller brush to do this one. And I'm not going to paint the hinge part there. I'm going to leave it. Just leave it white. But I'm going to paint part of my lid with black. And I got to carry it all the way over on the edges. I have to turn it so that I'm pulling a straight line around through there. This part I will go back in with the gold on it. Sometimes you'll find them the lids are off of them, and if it is, I always have Joe take the hinges off too, so that the lid just sits on the top. And I really like them better. They're easier to work on when that's off. Of course, I'm not going to tear one, you know, take one apart to take it off, but if it's off, I like it. It's much easier to work on. And when he does the one and puts the lights in, I have to watch when I find them to put lights in them, because he has to be able to get his hand down in there to mount that light in there. Because you've got to put that electrical works down inside that lamp. So inside that teapot. So you got to be able to put your hand down in there. It has to be open enough to get your hand in. See, I'm trying to follow that line that I've got on the teapot. Follow it right on around the circle. Keep me a straight line there. Little bitty piece right in there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and paint the tap because I got a little paint over on it, and I'm not going to try to clean it. I'm not going to do the hinge, but I painted that little part just above the hinge. Made a little boo-boo down there. Okay, now I've got that on, and I'm going to paint this top knot. Got to hold it down now to get that. Okay, now got that. Now I'm going to jump over to these two pieces and paint these two. And that was my larger brush. Okay, I'm going to hold that down here and go right up close to the top here and paint right around the top edge. Once you get the top and the bottom in, the rest of it's real quick. But you got to go around the top. This way you'll see this one all finished. Okay. Now I can quickly just paint the rest of it on there. Once I get that top and bottom filled in. You could do this if you want to do a blue and white one. You do this the same way. You just use your blues instead of your blacks, or any color you wanted to put on there. Hey, Tana. I'm behind on replays. That's okay. They're always in there. I'm surprised to see you today. Your singing was beautiful, girl. She's a beautiful singer, gospel singer. You should fix those videos to where we can share them. I would share some of them when you sing. Red, white, and blue would be good. Yeah, if you're making one for theme, making one. That's like I do the Christmas ones. See, I do these at Christmas time. I've sold so many of them snowmen ones, putting snowmen on them. I don't know how many of them I've sold. But I would do this same kind and put a big snowman face on him and do him in red and white. I don't have a snowman. I've got a gingerbread. I do gingerbread on them. I've got one of those right now, but I don't have a snowman one done right now. Okay, now I'm down here to the bottom, so I got to go back in and be careful to get around that bottom. Don't want to get it over onto my teapot. Make sure you got all the little spots covered. Go back and check it. Okay, now I'm ready to switch around to the other one. You need to come to one of our events. I do, Tana. I would enjoy that. I just have to, you know, make the time to do it. But I will come to one of these days. I came home today a little under the weather. Oh, yes, allergies are horrible. My youngest one, granddaughter, I thought she had a bad cold, but it stayed so long, I knew it was, after it stayed as long as it did, I knew it was allergies. Everybody's messed up with them right now. I'm going right in and paint these. Paint this one. That black dries quick, thank goodness, because you're filling and moving it around. And if your paint didn't dry quick, you'd be hurting, because I'd have it all over me. And then when I turn it upside down, I see over here on the handle pieces that I missed. So you always have to check that. Okay. Now, right back over here to this side. I've been watching you. Pam, that's true. Once you see it, and you see it in the thrift stop, you think, oh, I could do with that. Then you end up having more than you know what to do with. I was watching a live. I belong to a coaching group, a business coaching group, and this morning I was watching her replays that I hadn't got to do, and I was watching it. And they was talking about that, about selling, doing some sales and sell some stuff. You accumulate stuff, and you end up having boxes and boxes because you see it and you think, that's just like Joyce that's having a yard sale now. You see it. And I'm like that. I've got so much. I've got a building full of stuff. And my granddaughter told me the other day, and I was moving, trying to find places to put things and this and that. And she said, Mama, you don't need to go to Hobby Lobby and buy anything else. She knows me. She said, you don't need to buy anything else. But it's hard when you see it out there and you think, and then you bring it home and you don't ever get around to doing it. And that's, you know, that's kind of being a hoarder. But I've done that, I've done it, and I really need to get rid of it. And especially the older you are, the more you need to get rid of it, because my kids will trash it. Most of them will. They don't, you know, they don't know what to do with that stuff. And they'll put it in the yard sale or the dump. And you see, my son has brought home some amazing things from the dump, because he rebuilds computers and stuff, and he's always looking for stuff, and he'll come home and say, look what I found at the dump, because people do, they just take them to the dump and dump them. Okay, now I'm down to the bottom. Got a couple little marks on there I got to go back and cover up. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and paint that bottom all the way around right up to the top of the edge. So I'm going to go right in here and go right up to the top and paint around right underneath it and bring it down, because I'm going to put gold on that. I used to be that way with glassware. And oh gosh, I've got so much serving dishes and serving platters and stuff. I'm not one for sets of dishes. That never suited my fancy. I never did buy them in sets. I just love serving platters and serving bowls, and I've ended up with so many. And now I don't use them. Since I come to Tennessee, I used to entertain a lot and have a lot of family things when I lived in West Virginia, but I don't do that no more. And they've been sitting in storage for 10, 12 years. But I'd go to shop and come back, and Daryl would say, "You bought another bowl, didn't you?" He never cared what I bought, but he'd say, "You bought another bowl or another platter." It's hard to pass them up. When we bought that old house that time and did all that estate sale stuff, I accumulated so many beautiful pieces of glass from that too that I didn't get rid of. And now I should, I wish I'd have got rid of a lot more than what I did. Okay, the black is on. See? Now we're going to go right back and finish it up because I want you to see the thing, and I've got to go right around my top edge here and clean up my edges a little bit. Let me find me a smaller brush and one with a good point on it, because I don't like this right around the top here. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to try to even that out a little bit. When you're doing something and you're looking right down on it, you notice that. If the other person's probably not going to notice that that's not even, but I would notice that. So I'm going to take that little brush and go right back around there and try to make my lines all even. If I can't do it to suit me, I'll paint it black all the way up to the top. Okay, I think I got it pretty good. Little spots or two there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to put a few little streaks, a few little drags, what we call drags. Go to my ochre color that I usually use. I'm going to put a little bit down here. Now, this will hide a lot of sins, multitude of sins, as I call it, when you're spackling. So if you've got a spot there that you didn't get real good and straight, you can go right back in and, use your drags to kind of cover that up, because you're kind of making it messy. You're just messing it up a little bit. I'm using a little bit of my painting medium and a little bit of the gold colored, the ochre. I'm going to get me a wider brush. Okay, I'm going to run it first. Inherited your mother's glassware. I have a few dishes that belong to my mother and belong to her mother and belong to my grandma on my dad's side, so those I've left. But I hope before my time's up that I remember to put names on them so my kids won't get rid of them. I hope they'll keep them. Okay, now I'm picking up the gold just on the left corner of my brush and a little bit of painting medium, and I'm going to go right in here and just have a hit and a miss. Sometimes I'm going to go in the white, sometimes I'm going to go in the black. Now I've got one spot there that the white that I made a goof while ago. I'm going to go back and take a little bit of white and touch that up and hope that I can cover it. And I may have to cover that up 2 or 3 times to get that black to cover good. Go in here and take the white. Or you could take a little bit of chalk paint and put on that to cover it good. See, that white's not going to cover that black in one coat. So I will let that dry, and then I'll come back and hit it again. Always go back too and check your little lines that you put in, your little hatch marks, and make sure if you've got any of them left showing that you erase them. Erase them off. I've got a few little marks there that I can see. where I come down my lines, I'll just go all the way around and check to make sure that I don't have any of my markings showing. I like these big school erasers. The erasers on your pencils are useless when you're trying to get that stuff off there. So I buy those at the Dollar Tree or somewhere, and they're the big school erasers. Okay, now I'm going back with my gold again, and I'm just going to hit. Sometimes I'm putting it right in the middle of the black, sometimes in the middle of the white. No particular reason of why I put them there or how many I do. It's your choice. It just gives it a little bit of character. A lot of people call them drags. It's just pulling down. I've got very little paint on my brush, and I'm just streaking it right down through there. And it's making a light streak because part of my brush is medium, painting medium. And I'm going all the way around the teapot doing that. Yeah, I think I'm all the way around. See? Now, see the little streaks? I've just put those little streaks all the way around. Now I'm going to go back up. I'm still not happy with the top, with my around through there. I'm going to put me some polka dots in there and see how that looks. And then if I don't like it, I'm going to paint that black all the way up to the top. I've got to hit the top of that little thing there with the black. Now I'm ready to go back in with my gold. And I'm going to use, I'm doing it over top of the black. So I'm going to use my Empress Gold. Now when you're buying these, not by the colors, you know, these golds, these metallic colors, you need to look for the colors. This Empress Gold is my go-to color when I'm putting it over top of the black. And that one is closed good. Must have had paint all over it. I did. Okay, it's dried all over the top. Now I'm just going to put out some of that. And I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to start right up here on the top where I put that black around there. I'm going to paint it gold. These are one of the few things that I don't use the toothbrush on, because they are supposed to be kind of elegant. So I usually don't take the toothbrush and put the paint over top of the stripes or anything. Okay. I'm just painting right over top of my black, see, with the gold. And you can put as many coats. Sometimes I'll put one and be satisfied with one, and sometimes I might do 3. So it's just according to what the look is you want. Each time you put it on there, the gold will get a little bit deeper. Just following that black line I put around there, right back around again. When I do polka dots, I put those on last, because once you do your polka dots, you got to let it set and dry. Okay. I need to make a phone call real quick, girls, and make sure Joe don't forget to pick up Morgan.
Yeah.
Don't forget Morgan.
I know.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, I see I've got the gold on the top up there. And I'm going to go right up here and put the top knot on. Looks like a little pineapple, that top knot does. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a bigger brush and do these pieces and do the bottom. Let's try this one. I'm going to go down and do the bottom first, and that brush is not a good one. Let me find me another one. Okay. Now, I'll go down and do the bottom first so I won't get my hands in it. And I'm just going to take the gold all the way around that. Everything I painted black on the bottom down there is getting the gold over top of it. The gold just brings it up a level. Just leaving it black is, you know, it's not nearly as pretty as when you get that gold on there. That steps it up about 5 notches when you get the gold on. Hey Shelby, good to see you. With your metallics, can I? Yes, Tana, I varnish right over top of them. I even have good luck varnishing. When I did this tray today, I put that liquid gold on it. And when I use the Jo Sonja, I don't have any trouble with that liquid gold either. Now, some of the ladies do when they varnish, but I think they use that, I forgot the two that they mix, Duraclear and something that they mix to make their varnish. And they don't like it over top of the gold. But now my Jo Sonja varnish, I varnish it right over top of that gold, and I don't have any problems with it. And this one, I can either spray it. This is just a water base. This Empress Gold is just a water base paint. And I can spray it right over top of the gold. See how pretty that gold is on that bottom? I love that. I spray it over top of the gold, or I brush it on either one. And I will put multiple coats of varnish on this, but you have to do them slow, because if you're spraying and you spray it too heavy, it's going to run on you. So mist it with the varnish and let it set for an hour or so, and then go back and mist it again till you get a good coverage. But don't try to put a lot on at one time, because if it runs on you, you've messed it up. Because you can't. I tell you what I've done a number of times, and I could kick myself. And I keep my varnish, my spray varnish, and my white paint is in the same kind of can. It's just labeled different. And oh, so many times I have picked up that white paint intending to pick up my varnish and sprayed it on my piece and ruined it, because I just cover it with white paint. So I've got 2 or 3 tea kettles around here that I've done that, and I've been after Joe to clean them. But you have to get that back, all that back off. You got to dip them in gasoline to get that back off of them. He just takes a bucket of gas and dips them down in it, and it'll take all that off. But that just, oh, it blows my mind when I do that. I get so mad at myself for not looking at that can when I picked it up. But the cans look alike, so you have to be very, very careful with them. This is going to be a pretty set. I've done a blue and white set like this. I have a lady from home that I paint for her. She buys for her daughter, and her daughter is a pharmacist, has a place in Myrtle Beach. And usually when I paint for her, it's blue. Just be sure you got all your little bits covered as you go around. This metallics comes in all different colors too. Comes in different colors, the gold, different colors of gold. But this is just the one I happen to go to most often, but I have used some of the other colors too. I have them all. When you go, I usually get them at Hobby Lobby, so you can just go in there and look at the different metallics in gold. Okay, it's took me about an hour, just about an hour, girls, to paint this. I was started probably 10 minutes after we opened, and it's now 15 after, so it's took me right at an hour to paint this one. Okay, see? Now I've got one more piece to paint, this one over here. Around my hard spots first, places it's the hardest, and that I don't want to get the paint off. It has to be precise. I've been real lucky shipping mine. I think I had one snowman to get broke one time, but I've received a lot. Sometimes I'll luck into them on eBay at a good price, and I'll buy them, and they are people who don't ship them all the time, and they don't pack them right, and they come to me broken. So if you don't pack them very, very well, bubble wrap, and you know, then they're not going to make it there, because if this gets a bump right here, this pops right off. The legs are easy to break. Of course, this one don't have legs on it, but the ones that have legs on them, those little legs are easy to pop off. Used to be when I do the lights, a lot of time if I do these with lights in, especially when I done the shabby chic ones, Daryl would drill me a hole in that little spot right there, and I would hang a crystal. Would hang a crystal on it when it's done. Those are real pretty, and you can buy the crystals. They're little things like you buy hangs on lamps and stuff. I've still got a lot of them, but we used to always hang a crystal on them when we made the lamps, made a lot of them. You just have to drill your little hole in that little spot right there on the spout. Okay, I'm going to put some polka dots on that top, and that one's finished. I'm going to polka dot this right up here. See how that looks. Hey, Joanne, glad to have you join us. I'm going to use the wood end of my brush and some white paint. No, I'm going to use black. I got white on it. Okay, let's see if my black paint's still good enough. Okay, that's a little bit too big, that stick is. The size of your end of your brush determines the size, and I don't want them to be very big, so I'm going to go with this one. Dab it in my black paint, dab it over on my paper, and just go in here and put me some little dots in there. Clean that brush off if you're getting your dots are getting uneven or something. Then stop and clean the end of your brush off, end of your wood end. Okay, girls, I think I'm done with this one. See how pretty that is? Looks pretty good. Okay. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to set it aside, and we're going to go to the cream and sugar bowl. Okay, we'll set that one right there on the back. Let me see what I've done with my cream. Oh, with my cream and sugar. Here they are. Okay, now on the top of this one, I put it in triangles. And when I did this one, I could do this without a ruler, without, fooling with it. I just done a mark on this side, and exactly on the other side I made a mark, like slicing a pie. I went down through here, made a mark, then I turned it exactly to the middle and made another mark down here. Then I went in between those and put a mark. This is just like you'd cut a pie. You're going down the middle, cross in a T, and then you're going X and X. So each one of these, and it always ends up, when you're cutting a pie like that, it always ends up in an even number. So that's a good thing. So I've got each one here. I'm going to go in and paint every other one of these with my black. This is the lid to my sugar bowl. Okay, go down to a smaller, and I'm going to put me out some fresh paint as soon as I find what I've done with it. Okay, let me get me a drink. Do you ever paint gold straight onto the white? You can, but it doesn't show up very good. If you're going to put gold directly on the white, then you want to use this, which is liquid gold. And that's what I did on the pan that I showed you a while ago. Let me see if I can set it back here. See, I put this. This has a gold trim around it. See how that's got a gold trim here and gold down here? Okay, that's done. And I put a gold stripe here and a gold stripe here. But that's the liquid gold. This is an oil-based paint. And you got to clean your brushes with, I use mineral spirits. So this is a whole different ball game. But, and once you use a brush, you can't use it for nothing else. So I keep brushes separate. And you can take your brushes you used, get you a little bit of vegetable oil in the bottom of a small jar, and just set your brushes down in that vegetable oil and then clean them all at one time. But this is the gold because if you put the gold over top of the white, the gold that I'm using today, it's hard, very, very hard to get enough coats on there to make it show up good. So I always go to the liquid gold when I do that. Okay. Now I'm going to go in here and paint every other one of these little things black. Coming right down the edge. Okay. This is just like a pie shape going around this lid. I'm going to paint the little top knot black, and I'm going to go around this edge. I'm not going to worry right here because I'm going to edge the whole thing around with black too, so I can trim it in gold. So I'm going to get that in, go right on to my next one. See, these kind of projects are time consuming when we do them in class. That's why I don't do this kind of stuff. I don't want to do it on my other page. It's too involved, takes too long, and I don't want to spend the time to do it on there. Have you all thought about, do you want to do a cake, some kind of one of the metal cake carriers next month? And do you want to paint it in checks and stuff, or you want to make it country, put roosters on it or something like that, or do something else with it? We can do a lot of you have had those metal cake carriers. I've got a bunch of them, so we can paint one of them in a project next month. And I've done them in checks and stripes, and you know, I've done them with flowers on them. I do a lot of them with roosters on them. Do them in country and put some of the country colors on them, and then put roosters all the way around them. I do them that way. So I've done them lots of different ways. But think about that and let me know, because I know some of you have been waiting to get one done. When you base coat those, I don't put anything on the inside of those cake plates, because most of them have, some of them even have locks on them, you know, where they lock down. And I don't put anything inside where that a cake is going to be so they can use them. Sometimes I carry mine to church, and they always, you know, I'll take that when we leave today. I like to bake too. I like to bake cakes. That video I have of the chocolate covered cherries has been shared over 300 times. So it's moving around the web. And I've got it on YouTube, so. Okay, now I've got the top on. Now I'm going to go right around here and go around this edge and paint the black, because that'll be where I put my gold on the top of this one. Come around the edge of the top. I love to paint black because it's one and done. I love colors that are one coat coverage. And you don't get very many of them. That tray I showed you earlier has got the diamonds on it. Is just like, you can do that on any big tray, because that's just like the diamonds, the Harlequin pattern that I showed you last week. It's just exactly set up exactly the same way. So you can put that on anything you want to put it on. And you don't have to do it in black. You can do it in any colors that you want. Now I want to make sure that my edges are covered around this edge, because if they don't go down in the sugar bowl, then they're going to show. So just go back around and paint your edges. Okay. Now, I'm going to paint this too, but I can't hold on to that yet, so I'm going to set that aside. See, I've got those. I'll put some little streaks in them. I'll set that aside now and go over here to this one. Now, like I said, I've got one stripe in the middle, and then I've got 4 around, so I'm going to paint the ones around first, every other one. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I can do 2 or 3. I think I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to have 2 black lines and then 1, 2, 3 white lines. So I'm going to start right here. And that's not the right brush to do that with. Don't have a sharp enough tip on it for me to, let me clean up some of these over here. I've got too many in my water bowl. Okay, when you take it out of the water, be sure you squeeze all that excess water out of your brush on a paper towel. Now I'm going in here and I'm going to start right here and go around that. My stripes are going around the sugar and creamer. This happens to be the sugar bowl. I'm going to go all the way around, and then I will reverse and put the bottom line of the bottom part of that stripe. Rather than trying to work my way backwards with that bottom stripe over here, I'll just reverse my bowl. Now I'm right over there to that edge, and I'm going to, because that inside there is going to be a black line. I've got a black stripe that's going to go down that middle. Okay. Your stripes, you can do stripes, checks, you can mix them all up. One of your pots could have both stripes and checks on it. You could divide that coffee pot, do the top half in stripes and the bottom half in checks. I've got a big the old percolators. I like to do them too, and I've got a big one over here that my niece brought me. I've got it base coated and ready to go, but I haven't put anything on it yet. I think she said she got it for $2 at a yard sale. It's a beautiful one. See, this goes pretty fast. Okay. Okay. Can you base the area with yellow or dark and then paint? Can you base the area with yellow ochre or dark gold, then paint in the acrylic paint? Why would you want to do that, Debbie? Do you want your base coat instead of white? Do you want it to be the gold, the ochre color? Explain it a little bit more of why you would want to do that. If you wanted your whole teapot to be that color, you could. You can put black over top of about any color. So you could base your whole teapot and your whole set in another color, and then put your black stripes and checks and stuff on. If your color was too white or too dark to use a pencil, then you could use a chalk pencil to put your pattern on. If you're talking about the streaks, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to put my streaks, my drags or my streaks on first. Some people do that, but that's not my, everybody's choice. Everybody's different. Everybody's choice is different. I don't put a lot of streaks in them, and I don't, I want them to be the final thing, not the beginning. Got one more stripe to paint down there. I could leave that stripe down the middle white and put polka dots in it. I wanted to, I might just do that since we got polka dots in the other piece. I may just leave that one white and polka dot it down the middle. To do that though, I will outline, put a line down each side. Where do I get a chalk pencil? I think I ordered them from Amazon. I guess Hobby Lobby has them. I should have one laying around here. You buy them by the box. I buy them a box at a time. And they are pencils. I mean, just like a pencil, you sharpen it. See if I got a box of them set here in this thing. I might different cards here. They must be over in my other one, but I should have one here in my brushes somewhere. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, when I'm painting on dark surfaces, well, would you believe I can't find one? I'll have to find one and then show them to you. See if there's one in this bucket. I've got brushes sitting around here by the dozens, as you can see. But you might know I don't have a pencil. You remind me, though, if I don't show you one, remind me, and I will put a link. I'll find them for you. Because you buy them, they're not expensive. You may be able to get them at Hobby Lobby. I've never looked, so I really can't tell you. But you should be able to find them at Hobby Lobby. It's just a white pencil, and I'm not finding one. Let me look one more spot here. Okay. Girls, I swear I don't have one out here. I've got them put away somewhere, but I don't have one handy. But I will show you one. I'll post it and show you one. It just, it just writes white. It's just like chalk in a pencil, and you can erase it. That's called a chalk pencil. I've ordered them. I know you can get them on Amazon because I've ordered them a box at a time. They come like a dozen, just like buying a box of pencils. They come like a dozen in a box. Okay, got my stripes around now, and I think I'm going to go down here and paint this bottom. And I might, chalk pencil's handy for lots of different things. See, I could go back in if I was going to do something on this black and needed to put a pattern on there. You can take that chalk pencil and draw you a pattern on anything if it's dark colored. Okay, got that black on. Now I've got these two lines up through here, and that white is kind of bold on there, so I'm going to go ahead and paint those two lines in black. Paint those. I'm going to go down to a smaller brush, and paint them up, that 2 stripes up through there in black, and then I'll put white dots on them. Because I'm going to paint that handle black anyway. So I can just come right up around the handle. Let's go ahead and put that in while I'm working on it. Because my handles are going to be gold. So I'm putting that black on the undercoat and going right up through there with the black stripe. Sometimes you get in spots where it's a little tedious to get your lines in straight and get your lines in good. But you can do it with a little practice. We'll do another Happy Mail drawing. I'll do it when we finish on my wheel thing. I sent one out yesterday to, I forgot who it went to now. Now, jump over here and paint this side. I want to see you girls doing one of these and showing us what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to switch over to just a little bit larger brush now to do those handles with, so I won't be so long getting them on there. Go up to a larger brush. I've got a half a dozen brushes in the water here that I've been using. Got the tray, but don't have the Teapot accessories. Oh, don't use a sterling silver set. Don't paint your mom's sterling silver pieces. They're worth more to unpainted, the sterling silver is. You'll find one. Look on eBay. Sometimes you can find them on eBay for a good price. Sometimes I'll get lucky. I think it was either sometime last year, maybe the first of this year. Sometimes I'll just be sitting there playing with my iPad and I'll happen to flip over to eBay and I'll get lucky and I might buy 4 or 5 pieces at, one setting there. I'll find things. If you go in there and do a search, look for silver plate, teapots or trays or whatever, then go to the advanced search where you're starting with the cheapest ones and you don't have to go all the way down through them, or the buy it now. The only thing is, girls, when you're looking at them, you got to pay attention to what the shipping is, because sometimes they'll have a buy it now and it'll say, buy this tea set, buy it now for $10. Then you look down and it's $50 to ship it. That's the way they catch you. They get you by, making you think you're buying, and if you don't pay attention to that shipping before you've purchased it, then you're stuck. You've bought that, and you're going to pay $50 to get it shipped to you. So when you do your search, be sure you're paying attention to the shipping along with the price of the teapot or the tea set. But now sometimes people, especially right after Christmas is a good time. People are wanting to get rid of stuff, and they've finished their sales for the holiday and everybody's out of money, so they think they're not going to sell very much, and that's when you'll find the best prices. And I pick them up. Sometimes I'll pick them up for $20, $25 a set, shipping and all, especially if it's not too far away from you. Okay, now I've got that one. I'm going to go back in and put my little top knot on there. Then I'm ready to paint my gold, put my drags in. I don't have too much luck with trays on eBay because trays are a lot harder to come by. And now just plain simple trays you can, but anything that's got a design to it, or a pretty pattern, or one on legs or something, they're harder to come by. Okay, now I'm going to go in, and I'm going to put a little bit of a drag in these triangle things here. Take my paint, a little bit of painting medium, pick me up a little bit of the ochre color, and I'm just going to go in here and down a few of these. I'm going to pull me a few little streaks down there. Just going around that, and I just put my finger in the black right after I just painted it, so I got it all over my hand now. See, I just got a few little streaks on that, just a few. Now I'm going to do the same thing with these going around. I'm going to go in and go around this with just a few little streaks of color. You could make these streaks in any color you want. If you wanted to put some blue in there, or just any color that you wanted to put in there. Okay, see, I went right around. Now I'm ready to paint the gold. Paint the gold on this one. And I've got put out a little more of my gold. Let's see if I got a little bigger brush. Paint these handles first. When after you've already got the black on there, if you don't get the gold in every little spot, it's not going to matter, because, that may be the look that you're going for. It's just up to you as to whether you paint, because that black base coat's on there. So if you don't cover every little spot, that would just be like you intended to do it that way. And if you want it darker, want the gold a little more prominent for you, then let it dry and go back in and paint you another coat on it. Paint as many as you want on there. Usually, I very seldom ever do over 2, but sometimes I do 2. Just makes it kind of antique looking when you put the gold over top of the black. I've got some water in my brush and it's showing. When you bring your brush out of that water, always squeeze the water out. Okay, got that one on. Now let's get this one on. Uh-oh, I got some gold on that. Brush hit it. I like it. Now I need to put the gold around the bottom. Okay. Now I need to put the little top knot on, and he's finished. Okay, now I'm going to put me some few little dots in there, and I want them real small, so I'm going to go down to my stylist, and right in that little black section there in the middle, I'm going to put a few little dots just to carry them over from where I have them in the teapot. That side. Okay, he's done. See how pretty he is? I like it. Now I've got the teapot and coffee pot. I'm not going to sit here and paint the creamer with you because it's the same way as this little pot. And it's just too much time to sit here with you. You know, I bore you to death. You're a great teacher. I appreciate that. You and Debbie Riggs, I love. That's good, Joanne. I appreciate that. Yeah, Debbie's got a great personality for her group. She does a great job. I've been in her group since she started, so I've enjoyed it too. Yeah. Okay, girls, see, we've got the two here, and what did I do with the tray? And I will go back in and you'll paint the little creamer the same way. There's just not any sense in me showing you showing you to do it again when we're just going to do the same thing. But this gets the whole set. See? So that turned out pretty good. If you got any questions, get them into the thing. I'm never boring. I appreciate that, Debbie. You should tell my kids that. Great teacher. Thank you, Pam. I like to teach, girls. I like to teach. Now I'll decide. I may go back and put another coat of gold on that. I'll decide as we go, whether I put another coat of gold on it or not. But this tray's huge, but the way the center is, see, it just fits the 3 pieces in there exactly in that center. That's a good size because that's exactly what fits inside of it. So see? But this has got the same design on it as the sugar bowl does, except it don't have a lid. And when I do the creamers, I always paint the inside because you got no lid to go on that, so you're going to paint the inside. But I've got the same stripes around this and the same little stripe under here. Paint this handle with the black and gold, paint the spout with the black and gold, paint this bottom black and gold. So it's the same thing, just a repeat of what we done on the sugar bowl. Okay? Okay. I'll post a 10. I love this tray. This is a beautiful tray. But this tray will make this an extra $15 to ship it because it'll have to go in an extra, it'll cost me, if I was to ship this thing to California, it'd probably cost $50. So that's, you got to consider that when you're shipping. Shipping cross country is crazy, going to California. I shipped a teapot yesterday, a tea kettle to Hawaii, and she paid $50 for the tea kettle, and then she paid $18 to have it shipped to her. So it was, it's a lot to ship. And when I ship to California or to the state of Washington, the thing is crazy. So, but that tray being as huge as it is, that means a much bigger box to ship it in, and that'll make the shipping just shoot up. And a lot of times I'll ship these kind of things by FedEx because of that. Sometimes it's cheaper to ship at FedEx. Okay, girls, I'm going to set it back here because I'm not going to fool with that today. I'm done for the day. I got some computer work to do. So we'll post a schedule for next time, and if you've got an opinion of what you would like to see us, 10, I'll sell it to you. You should buy it. That's exactly right. I'll make you a good deal on it, and you can come pick it up. If you've got some ideas of what you want to work on next month, anything in particular, like you want to do a cake thing, or I've got these other, I've got some more trays. I've got some ideas, but I'll let you kind of give me some too if you want to. And we'll see if we want to do morning or evening, and by next week I'll post a schedule of what we're going to do. We can do 2 mornings and 2 evenings next month, whatever you want to do. We can also do a chat. The other night I done a chat, just a Q&A on my regular page, and it was real good. So if you want to do a Q&A thing, we'll just do that an extra evening, maybe a Saturday night or a Sunday evening. We'll pick a nighttime and just do a 30, 45-minute Q&A. If you've got some questions that you want to ask, that's a good time for me to be able to converse with you because I can watch all the messages that comes in. Okay, Debbie, I thank you. I thank all you girls for following along with me. It means a lot to me. And I'll catch you next week or catch you in the other one. I'll be in a private group tomorrow, so I won't be on. And I don't know if I'll be on here. Tomorrow's Thursday. Friday I have some banking to do, so I might be on the regular page on Saturday. I'll just have to wait and see. But I'll catch you next week for sure. Bye, girls. Have a good day.